Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the beautiful circuit of the Temple of Speed. Welcome to the stunning track of Monza. My name is Stephen Koenig, and we are in for an absolute treat, full of some close racing here tonight, and promising to be quite a difficult time for a lot of the drivers. Mustangs being the high priority pick for the drivers, but also double-edged blade with understeer coming into play and causing a bit of a problem for our drivers out there. So the Temple of Speed, a bit of a fun circuit to really give it everything you got. At the moment, Brandon Kruger leading out the top of the pack to get himself going in practice. Dean Orkia actually went and beat him out in the later stages towards the closing of practice, so keep an eye out on him as well. Championship still in the early stages, and drivers will have to figure out what's going to be beneficial for them, whether we're going to see some team orders coming into play, or are we going to see drivers really starting to step up the mark of how they're going to do. We did see a few drivers go and unfortunately have problems with fueling during the course of the race and landed up with that quite a wild state of affairs where drivers were dropping in and out, and eventually having to get pushed across the line. I'll have to say, Herman Pavical was taking the biggest hit on it, could have made an advantage, instead assisted his fellow competitors across the line, lost out in that run. So a big shout out to him on the incredible time. But let's go down to Quali though and take a look at the field. So far, Daniel de Villiers out in the Nissan GT3. Remember, this is a 2019 car that is now leading out the pack, one of the very few Nissan GT3s, and at one stage of the game, going back to the previous season, was the only Nissan GT3 in the field. He's since then convinced many to join in for the fights, doing a 147.142. 0.0 behind him, 0.45 behind him is Brandon Kruger in the Omnis Gaming KSR Mustang, really trying to put the power down and getting a lot of pace underneath him, hoping that that's going to be a huge climb for him, and if that's going to be the major win. Now, we did see him lose out, unfortunately, with the likes of running out of fuel, but he's since then corrected it, but now needs to find that little bit more pace. Paul Fenter, big story here, going and practicing quite a bit with the likes of Christoph Peterson, got the Honda finally knuckled down to get it all under foot compared to his Aston Martins, feeling more confident now. Fortunately, dropping a wheel on the dirt, but is currently lying in fourth place. Dean Orkia, told you, keep an eye on him. He is out in the top spot at the moment, and been told he's not actually streaming this. He's keeping it very quiet, low-key for the season, just to enjoy the racing and focus on the task at hand. Good to see him out there, really going and launching his way forward. Kerry Pukes of the Stingers Racing. The Stingers always coming to the party and can see a lot of support coming in from them. And taking a look, we have got Darren going and shouting out for his fellow PWSR cars. Antio Gamble going and saying, how's it as well? One of our biggest fans out there. Good to see you guys. Glad to see everyone joining in. Jason Farmer lying in 7th position at the moment in that top 10. Keep an eye on Jason Farmer at Donington. Was doing rather well and was able to close up the gap quite quickly. Chris Collison getting a little bit more of a drive, is running in 8th place. Johan Blicknote in 9th place. And remember, back to the first race, he wasn't able to finish. So he's trying to make a better race for him now. Ruan Footervalt in that top 10 for the Pandacity team. Trying to make a bit of improvement after last night, where the Pandacity team didn't quite have the race they wanted in the iRacing side of things, but is looking to make a big impact here in the world of ACC. Jeffrey LaRue losing our position to Tienes Buerta, who gets a fantastic drive through, and I had to sit on my booster seat to be able to see him, and it's a good thing he's also roughly about the same height. Makes it work out. Keep an eye on this driver though, yet to go out on the track. Makondo, incredibly quick new name to the field, and has really started lifting the eyebrows of quite a few pros looking to improve. Vietia Buerta finally rejoining the circuit after quite some time of taking a bit of a break, not quite sure whether to be in, avoided a lot of last season, and now is back racing under the logistical nightmare racing. compared to the Martians that we did see them. Richard van Eed back out on the racetrack. Good to see. He's coming off the back of a spectacular passion for speed race and done a fantastic job there. I think he raced about 5.5 races. Can't count the 45-minute enduro. Unfortunately, car overheated, and that was his retirement. But raced 5 out of the 6 races full, and that was with the Inex Legends for 3 heats, and went out for the bigger grids. Chris Beermister in 17th, Henry Platt along with Ellen Prim. Herman Provical looking to improve his time. Tristan Herbst back out on track in 21st position. Brandon DeSantos running down in 20th position. He's going to move his way up. And Sheldon Gullis going and making his way on the circuit. Good to see a good number of drivers out there. So far, the 1:46.5 by Dean O'Clair needing to be beaten. As I say that, Blicknote puts in a blistering time, a 1:46.545. And now that is only separating, I take it that within 100th of a second, Blicknote, Nokia, and Therapeutics are going and hammering it through, and all the way up until 12th position are all within a second of one another. Now, very difficult to actually get that top end field to really close up, and this is because Monza is notorious for having low aero, getting your power down as early as you can, and really using that top end to you. The only times that you can pick up a little bit is the like of Akari. Also up at the top of the circuit, there is very small sectors that you can do, and Parabolica, the final corner, if you just run it too tight, you land up with a bit of a problem. If you run it too wide, you into the marbles, you lose out that little bit of time. So you got to really try and catch it and flow your way through. Running out a bit wide can bring it right to the green and just continue on that far outside to sweep across. And you get it as close as you can to the wall to just go and minimize that gap, and also for the air to move around. Christoph Peterson up into 5th place, going and showing that Paul Fenter still has got a bit of work to do to beat out Christoph Peterson, going and changing from his Honda to the likes of the Mercedes this time around. He's hoping that that's going to be the critical element needed at the moment. Dino Kiers running in second place. He's unable to move up as yet. Kirk Bukes still giving it everything he's got, as we do see Michael Donaldson coming out of the pits in the Ferrari 296 and will be in a bit of clear air to warm up his tires and get going once again. Jason Farmer in 7th position, having a great time there. Paul Fenter in 9th and 10th place. There's Chris Collison, who comes across the line. Unfortunately, invalidated his lap time. He wasn't able to move up. Currently on a good lap, though, is Ron van der Walt, along with Herman Polvical, going and really stepping up their pace. Van der Walt coming around Parabolica, our final corner, going out a bit wide, 0.1 of a second faster than his personal best. This may be an advantage here. 0.2 as he comes across the line up into 10th place. He's going to be quite happy with that one. Herman, unfortunately, losing a little bit of time, making his way through. He's trying to get a little bit more of the hammer down. He has got quite a bit of time to get rid of. His quickest lap time was 1:47.532. He could take off 0.5 of a second. That's definitely going to help him out, but he is still at the top of the track. Anything can go as he starts to flirt with those track limits and just sliding the car out quite a bit. Got to be rather cautious on that approach, not to lose too much time. Tristan Herbst currently 0.1 up on his personal best. Tienes Buerta 0.1 up on his personal best. Everyone else thus far has invalidated their lap time or haven't gotten close to it. So we may see only very few changes coming for qualifying, but many of the drivers looking at what they need to do to really push themselves that extra little bit at this point. Herman currently running down in 13th position. Will need to really step up the pace if he wants to battle his way through. And Kerry Bukes is currently the fastest on circuit, 0.2 of a second faster than everyone as he comes out of turn 1, really putting the hammer down as quick as he can to try and jump his way up through the order. Herman up into 10th place, knocking down Ruan van der Walt, who had a good run. Tristan Herbst going and getting his lap all put together. Currently 0.6 of a second faster than his personal best. Can he carry the momentum through? That's going to be the question here, as it looks like quite a few drivers have invalidated their lap times and won't be able to get in. Quite a few drivers opting not to go out for the last 2 minutes of this practice or the qualifying session. Henry Plutz, unfortunately, also coming out of the pits just a little bit later. He's going to try and get a time in with 1 minute 55 seconds to go. Tristan Herbst comes across the line and is not able to move out of that 14th position. Did set a faster lap time of 1 minute 47.54 versus the likes of Chris Collison, who actually did 47.3. So got a little bit closer there. He's ahead of Vietia Buerta by only a little, but not going to be moving up through it all. Two drivers that really need to put the hammer down is Brandon Santos, 4 seconds off the pack. He did a 1 minute 50.7, so he's got to really try and dial it in, with Augustus down in 23rd, who has not set a lap time thus far. He will be waiting it out that little bit longer, as we do see Chris Collison currently 0.1 of a second up on his personal best lap time, really putting the hammer down. He's trying to make up some ground as possible, utilizing a little bit of slipstream from his competitors. And the Griffin Sim Racing Mustang jumping out of the way, allowing him to get on by, allowing the stingers of Chris Collison to really get going. Runs out a little bit wide, keeps his foot firmly on the gas, powering his way through, and will be coming across the line. Unfortunately, not an improvement there. Ricardo back out on track to try and beat out his 1 minute 48.4 at this point. As I said, new driver to the world of the Sprint Series. Good to see him out there being a part of the show and being part of the racing in the Ferrari 296. Going with a bit of a matte black livery on the way through, but still putting in a huge effort as he runs out wide. Oh, didn't invalidate the time, got close though. And unfortunately, just out too wide at the rear. Stepping out, carrying a little bit too much momentum. Going probably high third gear and keeping the revs up and losing out that little bit of traction. Chucks him off into the dirt. Daniel De Villiers 0.2 up on his personal best. Trying to get that one good lap in. Brandon Kruger trying to improve his lap time. Paul Fenter calling it quits. He's down on his delta. He's going to rather wait it out. So currently we have got Christoph Peterson, who has not improved his times. Brandon Kruger, who just gets the rear to step out. He's currently still 0.2 quicker than his personal best. Can he go and take the top spot away from his teammate Johan Blicknote and get ahead of Dean Nokia and the Stinger Racing Carrot Bukes to make it a Omnius Gaming 1-2? Or is he going to be sitting in between a sandwich of Dean Nokia and the likes of Christoph Peterson, going and being in the fray of things? Gotta be very difficult on that one. Daniel De Villiers currently in 8th. He was also very, very quick in practice. It was very close. I think it was 0.003 of a second off the likes of Dean Nokia, who was leading out the pack at that point in the practice before we went in. Brandon Kruger makes his way around the track. No improvement, and will have to sit in that 4th place, hoping that De Villiers does not improve. De Villiers 0.1 up on his personal best. He's going to come across the line though, and is that an improvement? Yes it is. Jumps him up into 6th place. He's going to be happy about that one. What a wild, wild ride. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as we get ready to go racing, we're going to have a bit of fun, but a quick little break before we jump in with our main race coming up shortly. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, with some amazing racing to come here at the Temple of Speed Monza. Going to be a wild one. It's going to be an exciting one. And drivers looking to really step up the pace, as we've got a bit of an interesting field starting out the pack. We've got Johan Blicknote currently running in 1st. Dean Nokia in 2nd. So we've got Omnius Gaming. We've got PWSR, Stinger Racing running on the 2nd row, Omnius Gaming running on the 4th row. Behind, we got Logistical Nightmare Racing, PWSR, followed by the Griffins. We're going down to Jason Farmer of Griffin Sim Racing, with Omnius Gaming sitting on his left-hand side, which is Michael Donaldson. Paul Fenter's around, plus Herman running a little bit further back, going Honda goes Burr. Love that. Absolutely love it. So many interesting ones and so many different teams. It's vast out there. And we've also seen lots of little changes throughout compared to the previous season, which is always grand to see guys going and moving up through the ranks, trying out their luck, being part of the shows, and really stepping their way forward. But taking a look over to our virtual grandstands, we do have a lot of support for Jason Farmer, for Stinger Racing, and also PWSR, Dino and the Hitman. Let's go! Getting shouted out from their partner in the pits, Darren, going in, enjoying the sidelines. And you're going to get to see him racing tomorrow night, racing in the Porsche. Good to see him going and having a ton of fun, along with Alan Patterson will be behind the wheel tomorrow night. I know not racing in the league at the moment. Well, for a Wednesday, he's not entered for it, but it will be back out and racing with the team tomorrow night for the mainstay race. 45 minutes of racing, folks. No mandatory pit stops. This is from start to finish. Fill your tanks up and get going all the way through. Don't worry about getting into the pits, and it is going to be a wild ride. So let's take a look at how it all goes and start taking a look at our amazing field. It's going to be a good time out there. We got the Oracle going and saying, how's it? It's going to be a incredible time. I have to agree on that one. It's going to be an absolute grand time, and it's all thanks to you guys out there in the virtual grandstands, and also our drivers and teams going to be putting in a serious amount of work. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the RaceFace.Pro GT3 Sprint Series Round 2. We got Johan Blicknote leading out the pack with Dean Nokia running in second place. Carrot Bukes running in third. Brandon Kruger with Christoph Peterson in fifth. Sixth, Daniel the Hitman de Villiers. Jason Farmer in seventh. Michael Donson running in eighth. Ninth place is Paul Fenter with Herman Povical in 10th. 11th position is Ruan van der Walt with Chris Collison in 12th. 13th position, Tianas Buerta along with Tristan Herbs in 14th. Richard van Eerd down in 15th position. Viatia Buerta in 16th with Jeffrey LaRue running in 17th. 18th is Chris Biermester along with Macondo in 19th. Henry Platt running in 20th. Owen Prim in 21st along with Brandon Santos in 22nd. Rounding out our entire field is Sheldon Augustus. Good to see him out there and ready to have some fun. This time, I do want to double check. He is in the older car. That is the 488 Ferrari. I didn't believe it. My brain didn't want to believe it, but it's there. The 488 Ferrari. The only driver to pick a older Ferrari. Now, that's an interesting take, because we are going to see two different setups. We've got our 296s, which are the V6 turbocharged era Ferraris, versus the V8 of the 488. Now, I think Sheldon Augustus does have the advantage because BOP does favor the 488 on the likes of LFM. I had to think about that one. So LFM did also go and show quite a bit, and it does show a lot of favoritism to the 488. A lot of people don't like to go for it. It is an older car. It is a little bit more challenging, and it isn't getting many of the updates that have come through. But if you can get that car right, I do think it is a serious contender to the front. So maybe we might see Sheldon finding out that rabbit in the hat, and a lot of these teams will be taking a look behind them. But Johan Blicknote teaming up, going to be fighting against Dean Nokia. Now, this is going to be an interesting battle. Blicknote in round 1 was at the back of the likes of Dean Nokia. He had to try and claw his way through. This time, he is going to go side by side with Dean Nokia, and this is where it's going to get challenging. Both have support from their teammates behind, but there's a lot of interference in the way. So these drivers are going to put the hammer down, and not to take away anything from the Stinger Racing here at Bukes and the logistical nightmare racing of Christoph Peterson will be also throwing their hats into the fray. Jason Farmer, we've seen, has been rather consistent in his drive, so I'm looking forward to see where he can put himself in this race. 45 minutes of round 2. We're going to be starting off, and I hope you guys are ready to rock and roll for RaceFace.Pro GT3 Sprint Series, because I know I am. 45 minutes of hardcore racing. Gonna wear you out. It is a beautiful day. 22 degrees track temperature, 16 degrees air temperature. Perfect for any car that's got a turbocharger at this point as they get ready to rock and roll. Lights on, lights on, lights on, waiting for the green. Over to you, Jim, who will be going the green. And green light, we are racing with Dean here racing off the bat. Absolutely blistering start on his part. Has got Johan now looking on the right-hand side. He's going to have the advantage if he can just put his nose in. Dean tried putting a bit of pressure on there, but no shuffle around. Looknote will put his nose in, and Dean here will have the advantage. Oh, contact between the two. It does create a bit of a concertina. They're both off the track. Oh, it was the number one. Michael Donaldson turned around, and that is just creating an absolute devastating effect. Going down. Rich Van Eed going and avoiding some of the accidents as he does see Chris Biermester was not part of it. Macondo getting caught and turned around. LaRue, Donaldson, Vietia Buerta, Tristan Herbst got caught in it, and Sheldon Augustus has jumped up multiple positions in that. He's done a great job. Tennis Buerta, Christoph Peterson, who was right at the front, landed up with a bit of a problem. Herman Profikol as well. That was just a disastrous run. Let's see if we can quickly go back to a helicam. It's a bit wild of seeing things here, and a bit of a slow run for Peterson as he takes some avoiding action. And a little bit of a slow caught out. Donaldson turned around by Farmer, and that just had everyone having a nasty concertina effect. So Donaldson, that lightest of touch into turn one, got him turned around, and it looked like it was the touch between himself and Jason Farmer that landed up that huge concertina effect that threw quite a few cars out of position. But at the moment, Brandon Kruger leads out the pack with Daniel de Villiers in second. Kerry Bukes running in third. Ron van der Walt losing a position to Jan Blicknotes, who makes his way around, absolutely gets it hooked in. Jason Farmer gets the run. Paul Fenter, but Dean Nokia down into 8th, which is a little bit of a blow for the 111. And let's quickly take a look. What happened to the 111? Yes, this was where the contact is, and rejoining behind the entire pack. Oh, he had the contact with Peterson while trying to rejoin, getting off the grass. Kurt Bukes into the wall as well. Not having a good time out there, and all had to try and figure it out. So there's a couple of cars getting a bit of a T1 loving, but now having to get a little bit of work done to them on the way through, and it has twisted our race round. Chris Collison and Chris Biermester now sitting, fighting it out for the top 10. Biermester may have the advantage here. He's got light scuffs on the front of his car, not as bad as Chris Collison, so he has an opportunity to try and close the gap up that little bit. And Stinger Racing, Chris Collison getting that understeer, that front end just not biting in underneath him. Will have the Ferrari 296 of the likes of Chris Biermester get up on the inside, and oh, beautiful cutback. Oh, a little bit of contact between the two, and Chris Collison tucks in right behind. And that tank slapper coming into play as well, fighting the car left, right, and center as these two fight it out for the top 10. And I do think the Stinger Racing of Chris Collison will have an advantage here. Down the main straight, or the back straight, gets onto the power, comes off, makes his way through. Going to be a bit of a difficult time, yeah, and it does look like he's happy to himself going, oh, Rich Fanieda caught the wall. Now he's trying to drag himself to the pits, and that is Brandon Santos turned around in the background, along with Henry Platt getting caught out. So it looks like that we've had a few secondary contacts coming through as well. Henry Platt, what happened to him? This is what is going around for the number 9 car. Oh, he had the contact, and that was pretty much that, landing into the wall. Santos getting turned around on the left rear, throwing him into the wall, and now having some work being done. So is Rich Fanier getting his car sorted out so he can rejoin the circuit. Not ideal circumstances. He was caught in that earlier massive accident that hurt the car, and it's starting to get a little bit of a problem. Dino here on a bit of a charge back to the front as Jason Farmer trying to go defensive, holds the inside line, and then Switcheroo comes around. Oh, a little bit of an elbow between the two of them, but Dino here taking the position back ahead of Jason Farmer, who's going to be sure to keep on the anchors for the Griffin Sim Racing. Dino here on the hard push though. His tires will be feeling it after quite a aggressive charge. And how this is going to work out is a different story. Henry Platt going and having a fight. Oh, this is Donaldson. Blow to blow with Macumbo. Oh, that was a little bit not giving room, unfortunately. And both cars landing up, getting caught. So let's go back 30 seconds and take a look at that, because it was quite a huge amount of events. So, getting felled up behind the likes of the big Aston Martin. Secondary, first contact there. Kando trying to turn the car in. He's off the track, tries to rejoin. There's a second contact on the grass. Third, fourth, and off. Not much room to hit the brakes as well, because he was on the grass. If he hit the anchors, he would also lose it. So not ideal circumstances. But drivers doing everything they can to maintain their positions. And if they give you a bit of an inch, they'll take it a mile. So they've got to be very careful with that. Henry Platt and Donaldson now on the chase with Elwin Prem leading out the pack for the team Try Racing in 11th position. Now Michael Donaldson trying to regain some time after getting caught out. Tristan Herbst going and getting past Jeffrey LaRue, under braking into T1. A big Mustang is able to outbrake, doesn't have as much nose damage compared to LaRue, and will try and push his way towards the sharp end of the running. Him Provical onto Sheldon Nogales, who I've got to take my hats off. That 488 is sticking around. That is incredible, incredible drive for the 488, I've got to say. I mean, out of all the cars, that's been it. Oh, Paul Fenter in the wall, and looks like he may have had contact with the 111, which is Dean O'Keefe. Now, let's see if we can quickly take a look at this. So, we know Dean O'Keefe in the PWSR Ferrari behind Paul Fenter in the Logistical Nightmare Racing Honda. And Paul, oh no, he just touched the wall. Oh, no, he didn't. Just lost it on the dirt. And Dean having to go get all out of shape, trying to pick himself together. Oh, Dean O'Keefe landing into the dirt. And now just trying to get himself going. Hats off to him, though. Reversing the car, getting himself all straightened out to rejoin safely. Ooh, no, a lot of damage to that car, opting rather to tow back. And that is not a good run for the 111, who was on a hard charge. Elwin Prim going defensive, holding line with Michael Donaldson, putting a lot of pressure on the back of him as they fight it out for 9th position at the moment. Prim is keeping a very cool and calm head as Donaldson looks to close up the gap, looks to the right-hand side, will have the dive into turn 1. Will Prem take him down to the wire here? He's going to have to go very late on the anchors. Donaldson bleeds off the brake a little bit early to stick his nose in, gets it all sorted out. Good racing on both parts, but now Prem is going to be very careful as Tristan Herbst has got the better drive with Henry Platt also closing the gap as well. Kondo now trying to get the drive to break away from the likes of Sheldon Nogales, who is dealing with Paul Fenter at the moment. The 488 driver is properly going out there, and I've got to say, very, very impressed with how it's going for him. Paul Fenter, though, has got a lot of work on hand. After having a bit of a spin, those tyres are not going to be under the best circumstances, as we do see Sheldon, unfortunately, missing his braking marker, lose out a bit of momentum there, and will rejoin the circuit safely, but he will get a warning, and Paul Fenter will have a go at Sheldon, who's now got a bit of dirt on those tyres, and will have to be very cautious of it. Michael Donaldson around the outside of Chris Collison gets it sorted out. The Stinger Racing not putting too much of a fight in, does allow a little bit of give, and will rather follow the tow on the way through. 36 minutes to go, plenty of racing left in the grid, and drivers will be just contemplating of what they need to do at the moment to ensure they in a great fight. Paul Fenter, though, is in a fight between two drivers he's never raced before. Sheldon Nogales and Macondo are in a absolutely ding-dong battle. That's fantastic. I've got to say, love it, love it, love it. Bit of contact between the 1-2-1 of Tristan Herbst and the likes of Elwin Prim. This is going into Parabolica, I would say. As Tristan looks to the inside line. Prim stuck on the outside, late on the anchors. has a little bit of drive coming through, does have a little bit of a rub onto the rear. Nothing too bad there, was clean pass on both. Unfortunately, a little bit of an early turn in, thinking that the Mustang was further up the road. Unfortunately, it was not the case to be. It's one of those very few things that does happen in the world of racing. But drivers will have to try and figure out their next stay to it. So huge amounts of running through it all. And drivers trying to make their way through. Prem now under pressure, putting a bit of pressure back onto Tristan Herbst, but also having to defend against Henry Platt, the teammate, going and having a go at him. Jeffrey LaRue still there. Oh, Sheldon going and getting turned round, unfortunately, by clipping the curbs, and rejoins the circuit, but will have likes of Brandon Santos trying to have a good go at him. LaRue trying to go at Prem, Henry Platt, and Tristan Herbst, while they got Chris Buemister. Oh my heavens! LaRue contact with Prem into the wall, and it looks like that would have been Henry Platt as well that landed up in that. Let's quickly try and take a quick look from the helicam and just see how all 5 of these cars got into a mix. So Buemister gets a horrible run. He has contact with Tristan Herbst, gets onto the grass. Okay, that fouled up Tristan Herbst, allows his teammate to have a go at him on the left-hand side. He brakes early, and suddenly he didn't realize having another problem behind him of LaRue coming up at a rate of knots. That landed up with all of them going everywhere. Contacts made, and Buemister ultimately losing the position regardless to the likes of Tristan Herbst as well. But big winner of it all, Tyre Change. Done a fantastic job, clawed his way through. He's now trying to go and make his way up through the field. He's done a fantastic job at this point, going and keeping himself consistent after the earlier contacts that happened in the race. He's just trying to battle his way through. So a couple of drivers need to get sorted out. Elton Prem into the pits, and we'll be taking a look as Sheldon comes out of the pits, and Brandon Santos, outbrakes himself completely into T1 and absolutely kills Kenny the Cone. Was it necessary? That's what I've got to ask. Macondo loses our position to Paul Fenter as he tries to make up some time on the way through. Absolutely wild stuff. As we do see a couple of drivers out there in the virtual grandstands, legend drivers that have been around for quite some time and part of the Alpha 1 Esports, if I still believe he is part of that. Sanjan Pillay out there and keeping an eye on the race, and good to see old legends coming and being a part of the show. Dean Nokia looks like he's retired out of the race, unfortunately. Not ideal circumstance there. For anyone that does have Dean Nokia or has sight of Dean Nokia, please go down to the pit there. Tell him from the commentator, Stephen Koenig, get the car back out on the track. Yes, you might not be in the front, but just get the car back out on the track. Be a part of the show. Go and enjoy yourself. I mean, heck, get some practice in for tomorrow night's race. Just leaving it parked in the pits is just not on. Get out there. You can still do it. You've got plenty of space to get that car fixed and going. And we want to see that car get out and going. So there's a call to the PWSR team. I'm calling out Dean Nokia. Get that car back out on circuit. Cross the line. That's the way you need to. Oh, Elwin Prem, our first disqualification. And that, I think, is from speeding in pits. So Elwin Prem, unfortunately, DQ'd out of this race for speeding in pits. And it's just going and landing into a problem. Expensive race for spares. Yep, it is. But it's worth it. Absolutely worth it. We've got to get these cars back out there. You guys have got a multitude of spares. Ferrari's got a whole bunch of stuff there. You're in Italy. You cannot let the Ferrari not finish in Italy. It's a crime against humanity. I mean, who does that? You can't. It's Ferrari territory. Get the car out. Get it racing. I got an idea for anyone out there in the grandstands. Do you think sitting in the pits is the way to end this race? Or would you rather see the car back out on the circuit, going and racing and crossing the line under its own steam? I know I want to see the car getting out under its own steam. I want to see the driver get out and go under his own steam. Get out and race. So, well, I want to see that car go. Darren, you can make up all the excuses you want, buddy. That is my way to do. Dean, and Dean, if you're watching this, buddy, because I know you sit in the pits there, you're going to be looking at the monitors and seeing what's going on, having a chat to your teammate. My call out to you, bud, get that car back out on the track, go and finish it properly, go and finish it under the checkered, don't go and be on the back foot here. That's my call into it. It's never done until you get DQ'd. If you got DQ'd, fine. But if you haven't, get that car back out. Go and have fun. Go be part of the show. It's an incredible time here at RaceFace.Pro for our sprint series. And considering this may be the very last season of our GT3 sprint series on Assetto Corsa Competizione, sad to say, rather finish it on a high of scoring points and crossing the line, not having a did not finish. Because, well, once you get that did not finish, once, you can never take it back. It's gone. It will be permanently stuck there as the final round. So my call out to the PWSI is exactly that. And to all the drivers, I know you guys are going to be racing tomorrow night. Take it from the grid here. Involved in a monster accident, but they are still giving it everything they got. They're not backing down from the fight. They will get going. So, I mean, finish it under your own. Joubert's got it exactly what I'm saying. Love to see it. Thank you very much. And that is straight from the virtual grandstands there. The huge support that comes in for these drivers that just want to get out there, because these are household names, folks. We want to see them racing. Well, taking a look though, let's go through our running order as we do see Christoph Peterson on the back of Chris Collison. Can't quite get the drive around Parabolica. You can see that major damage to the front end of his car, but he is still doing everything he can to power his way through. I mean, that is absolutely phenomenal. Macondo up against LaRue. He's chasing down and going everything. Good to hear. Darren, thank you very much. That is what I would love to see. Thank you. I appreciate it. Get him in the car. Get him out there. Give him an ice cream afterwards as a well done. I think that's going to be the best part on a blazing day here at the beautiful track of Monza. I mean, you come up this far. Where are you going to go? You're going to go and sit at a restaurant and snap the pasta in half? You would probably get killed by every Italian for snapping the spaghetti. Best way, if you want to get a divorce with a Italian, you snap the spaghetti, as we see the likes of Christoph Peterson trying to really snap the nose into get past Chris Collison at this moment. He's giving it everything he's got. Looks towards the inside line. Can't really go for it again. Both have a bit of straight line damage, so they're both losing out that aero at the moment. Still putting in everything they can. 50-meter board exists. 100-meter board no longer exists, so you got to just be very, very mindful on your braking markers and get going. So, through the running order, Brandon Kruger leads out the pack. 2.3 seconds behind him is Daniel the Hitman de Villiers, doing a phenomenal job in the Nissan GTR. I mean, this is a person that had terrible luck throughout one season. Darren, you also landed up with terrible luck through a season, but you still stuck it out. Kerr Bukes running in third. Johan Blicknotes in fourth. Roman van der Walt in fifth, along with Jason Farmer in sixth. Michael Donaldson running in seventh with eighth place Tristan Herbst. Chris Collison still battling it out with Christoph Peterson, who's got the inside line now. He's going to have to go for the launch. Does so, gets it side by side, stays on the gas, really trying to put the power down all the way through, and has he got the top end? Yeah, it's going to be a drag race at this point between the two mighty V8s. They've got the same amount of CCs underneath the hood for both the Mustang GT3 and the AMG GT3 Evo. And now it's all down to turn one. Who's got later on the anchors? You could see a quick bleed off for the brakes on Christoph Peterson. Oh, contact between himself and Chris Collison. That only slowed up Chris Collison, but that little bit of a knock has brought Chris Biermeister into the running order and tries to close up. He's got Henry Platz onto the back of him, and Herman still in for a fight here. He's still in for a chance to give it everything he's got. Tennis Buerta heading back out on track after his pit stop. Good to see that he's gone and get going. Chris trying to dive on the inside. Didn't quite make it. Has got the likes of Henry Platz all over the back of him. Herman also taking a little bit of lift to get himself out and get himself into the running order. And will put the charge on. So it's going to be a close race for 11th, 12th and 13th at the moment. And all drivers have done a phenomenal job thus far to keep it nose to tail. Now they've just got to get around each other quite quickly, otherwise they're going to start hammering times. Sheldon Gullis has pulled into the pits, and I hope they can get that car back out onto the circuit. He is in the pits for quite some time, maybe doing quite a bit of repair work. For anyone that does have contact to Sheldon, it would be nice to hear what type of work's being done on that car as he loses out of position to Richard van Heide at this point. Richard starting to make up that little bit of ground here. And Puerto will also start to open up and get himself going. So Sheldon still stopped in the box for quite some time. Really, really hope they can get that 488 out onto the track. I want to see the 488 cross the line. Really, really do. It will be the first time since the 296 has come out to see the old Ferrari get round. And Sheldon is back out on track as he will come out behind the pack of Herman Profkol, who goes in front of Henry Platt. Under braking, Henry trying to go for it. All three wide though, as there was a bit of a dive. Sheldon on the brakes, kept it all together. Watch these two rocket on by. I mean, this is just very, very close racing. And yeah, bravo to Sheldon getting back out on track after everything he's had in a car that, in theory, shouldn't be competitive. He's still out there. He's still giving it a good shot. Gotta say, I take my hats off. Anyone that can do that, get back in and get going, phenomenal stuff. Chris Collison trying to catch it, trying to keep Chris Biermeister out of the way. Running in 12th with Henry Platt in 13th at the moment. Paul Fenter, you can see just in the background in the Honda NSX, trying to make his way through. Back up towards the sharp end of the field, it's Jason Farmer versus Van der Vault as they go battling into Parabolica. Hard on the anchors. Van der Vault will have the advantage with his McLaren 720S, and he has got Rich van Heerde rejoining the circuit through Parabolica. Now Richard is a blue flag, but he doesn't have to move out of the way. He can just hold his racing line and is not allowed to fight for position. So he's not going to fight at this point, holding his line but trying to utilize the toe. Doesn't want to lose out too much drive. Side by side with Jason Farmer though, who is going to get a little bit fouled up. A little bit of contact between the two there. Can't say that there was too much of a fight going on there. But now Jason Farmer's got to try and find his way past to catch up to Van der Vault and doesn't want to lose out too much time. Richard does move to the outside on the left, not going and lifting off the gas too much to compromise his drive. Now Richard's also trying to catch up to Brandon Santos, 55 seconds ahead. So good to see the guys are starting to make their way through and making a good bit of time. Johan Blicknotes and Curry Pukes going and finding out. Stinger Racing versus Omnius Gaming. Two Mustangs going and having a go at one another for third place. So far, the Stingers of Curry Pukes running the race he wants at this moment. But Blicknotes, who got a DNF in round one, now trying to make up a bit of points. Remember, there's no drop rounds here to help you, so you've got to make every point count. Chris Collison onto the back of Herman Provocol, and Herman in that top 10 is exactly where he wants to be. He's a driver that was rather blunt in terms of his racing. He doesn't want to, he knows he can't really fight it out for the top spot, but if he can get those top 10s, he's happy. As Chris Collison loses our position, Chris Biermeister gets the pass done and dusted. Collison, low drive though. Henry Platt's going to have an easy pickings, utilizing the slipstream to get on by. Chris tucking in behind him. Will have to just wait, and very, very close racing amongst all these drivers. I have got to take my hat off to a lot of drivers just getting back and going. And the how close the racing is just been incredible. Well, talking about close, we do have one that got a little too close, and that is Paul Fenter, who landed up going a bit wild. So let's try and jump on board. This is from the passenger seat of the Honda NSX of Paul Fenter. Over the sausage curb, got a little bit unsettled. Trying to bring it back. Oh, the rear just fishtails and slides it around. Kept it out of the wall, dropping it down the gears as quick as you can to just get himself all sorted out. Very, very close running there. And will go and wait to get himself out and going. But it does look like we've had a bit of a problem with the 74. And that is Chris Biermeister of the 74. Chris Collison just ahead. Oh! Contact between the Mustang and Beermister, they turned round. Sheldon Augustus gets on by. Oh, man, and that was a murder. That was the 27. The 120. Was it the one? It had to be the 27, wasn't it? That was a McLaren. Yes, it was. It was Jeffrey LaRue that went nose first into the accident. Let's quickly try and take a look at what, from his point of view. I mean, this is a horror show, folks. Parabolic is blind on the as you go into it, so you've got to really hope that there's nothing there. You see one car off. Oh man, that little drive forward, there was no hope, absolutely none. He was trying to go for a gap that quickly disappeared underneath him. Blicknote gets ahead of Garrett Bukes. My oh my, we'll have to see LaRue and Beermister get their cars out in the pits, but give credit where credit's due. Dean Nokia back out on the track. He's 11 laps down, but he is back out on the track. So well done to the PWSR team to get the driver back out there. And Dean, well done. Credit where credit's due. Finish the race the way that you want to do it. Crossing the line under your own steam. So well done. Quite proud of him on that one. Proud of drivers that can still stick it out till the very end. Ruben van der Walt looking on the inside of Jason Farmer. Couldn't get the pass done and dusted. They are fighting for 5th place at this point and doing a phenomenal job. Close running between all the cars. Literally sitting within 0.1 of a second of racing despite everything. They're still putting the power down. They're still getting out there. And it's good to see. As we do have Sheldon, unfortunately, missing out his braking markers into turn 1. He's waiting. So Jeffrey LaRue and Chris Beermister are the 2 drivers. We are waiting to see them getting back out on track to rejoin the race. Jason Farmer and Ruben van der Walt still having a good go at one another. It is Brandon Kruger that's still leading out the pack, with Daniel De Villiers 3.4 seconds behind. Johan Blicknote 3.9 seconds. Garrett Bukes is starting to gain that little bit of ground. He's 1 second behind Blicknote and is making his way through. Jason Farmer with Van der Walt having a good go at him. These two have been on a phenomenal charge. Donaldson running in 7th position as it stands, with Tristan Herbst following down in 8th. 9th is Christoph Peterson, Herman Provical, along with Henry Platt, Viertia Buerta. Macondo still out on track in 13th. Chris Collison down in 14th. Paul Fenter in 15th. 16th is Brandon Santos. Richard Van Heed down in 17th. 18th is Tienes Buerta and Sheldon Augustus. Give it up to the guy. 488 still stuck out there despite everything. Jeffrey in the pits currently, along with Chris Beermister, who is exiting the pits, might I add. So he is heading out onto the track. Good to see the Pandassi machine doing it. I'm waiting for LaRue though. Come on, LaRue, get yourself out there. Rejoin the fight. And Dean Nokia rounding out the pack, who is going absolutely fantastic. To see drivers still sticking it out. LaRue, we waiting for him to go out. Possibly major damage to the car that is getting repaired. But we do know spares are around. There's 16 minutes of this race to go. Paul Fenter sends it past Chris Colson at the moment. And the little Honda, having very nimble legs around the corners, should outdo Chris Collison's Mustang. But when it comes to the straightaways, is dead in the water, as that twin turbo just doesn't quite keep up to the likes of Chris Colson's naturally aspirated V8 of that Mustang. Ironically enough, the Mustang has a similar build to the Mercedes AMG. Now, when I talk about similar build, they are front engine, right? But the engine is behind the front axle. It is towards the drivers, pushed really far back. So it's a front engine that's shoved towards the middle as much as possible. So versus the likes of the mid-engines, where it's in the rear of the car, shoved to the middle, and that goes and helps balance the thing out. Your front engines are actually shoved right in towards the cockpit. Makes the cockpit a lot smaller, but does move a lot of the weight to the middle, making it a bit easier to drive and giving it a very interesting characteristic. Always fantastic to go and take a look at. Very interesting to go and look up on the cars and how they built. You would be quite surprised of the clever little tinkering that's gone in. And honestly, you can go and take a look in the world of Assetto Corsa Competizione and go and take a look at the car showcase, open up the doors, get to see a little bit of what's going on around. If you have VR headsets, look around the cockpit, go and see how everything's wired in. It's a little bit on the messy side and the right-hand side, but that's because they don't need to have everything so neat. As we do have the closest on battle is Paul Fentel and Chris Collison. Ruben van der Walt is 1.3 seconds behind Jason Farmer. Kieran Bukes is 0.8 of a second to Johan Blickner. And they're fighting out for third at this point. LaRue still stationary in the pits. Come on, LaRue, get that car out. Get that McLaren going. There has to be an opportunity there to get that McLaren going. There is spares, and I know just arriving on the scene of a shot where it just goes and hits into the wall, not a good thing, but I do want to see that car get out. And he is. Jeffrey LaRue is back out on the track after needing to be resuscitated after that huge accident. That means the only car that is missing from the grid, folks, is Alan Prim, who got disqualified for speeding in the pits quite substantially. 22 cars out on track. Well done. Hats off. And Dean Nokia actually getting pointed out by Darren, saying that he's got the fastest lap of the race. A 1:47.035. He's done a great job there. Oh, Christoph Peterson, Tristan Herbst, and Herman Profical. What? Hold on. Major problems have risen at the point here. The 121, the 7, and the 44. Did they all spin in the same location? Okay, so this is Tristan Herbst. And Peterson is not there. Okay, Tristan's lost it. Swings back. Oh, Peterson. He took a left when he should have took a right. Drove into the door. And Herman, I think, lost it all by himself. Man, oh man. That was frightening for the number 7. That was a solid impact. I want to just take a look here, because it didn't like there was any movement on the car. Tristan was holding his brakes by the looks of it, so he came round. He saw the Mustang bounce off the wall. Oh, left, right. He didn't know where to go and just drove through the door of Tristan Herbst. Got the car. He's getting the car repaired after that one, but oh boy, that was an impact and a half. And what an impact. I mean, this is one of those, do you duck, do you dive, do you go left, do you go right? I mean, in a boxing match, this is where you bait and switch, trying to go and get your competitors offline. Usually you're focusing on the mirrors, but a very, very rare mistake from Christoph Peterson to see that unsure of where he's going. Usually he's quite committed to the line. This time, didn't quite work out, and Tristan Herbst, who was on the brakes, just landed up with a problem. Oh, Paul Fenter touched the dirt on the outside. This is at the top of Monza, and he's able to get himself up and going, put a wheel on the dirt, and that threw him. But it doesn't look like any damage to the car, so he was able to keep it out of the wall. But is definitely down the order, and I know is going to be frustrated. There is words being said in that Honda that this man doesn't speak Japanese, but I think he started talking Japanese. So let's take a look at the running order at the moment. 11 minutes to go. Brandon Kruger up 3 positions from where he started. Started in 4th. He's into 1st. De Villiers up 4 positions from where he started. Now in 2nd place. Johan Blickner down 2 positions. He's in 3rd. With Kieran Bukes still on his tail. Down 1 position. Jason Farmer up 2 positions. Ruben van der Walt up 5 positions in 6th. Michael Donaldson up 1 position. Henry Platt up 12 positions, folks, from where he started. Started in 20th, he's in 8th. With the Vietia Buerta, also sterling effort, 7 positions up from where he started. Macondo, I mean, is just out there doing a great job. Started 19th, he is into 10th, he's up 9 positions. Great stuff. Chris Collison up 1 position, he's into 11th. Herman Povkill down 2 positions. Paul Fenter down 4 positions as they 12th and 13th respectively. Brandon Santos also having a bit of a run there, up 8 positions. Rich van Heerd exactly back to where he started, but has had a few moments throughout the race, and he's gained a bit of positions after the contact, so he's back out there and doing a phenomenal job. Tiana Sports down 3 positions, but is still going. Sheldon Augustus is up 6 positions. This is an I can't take this away from the driver. An old car that's not looked at, not BOP'd, no one wants to touch, has been forgotten by its own sim, still out there, and is in a Ferrari that everyone falls in love with. I mean, take a look at the 488 and compare it to the 296. Take away the lovely color schemes that are on the cars. The 296 just doesn't hold a candle to the 488. And Sheldon out there, up 6 positions. Bravo, man. Bravo. Love to see it. Christoph Peterson down 13th positions, but he did have that massive impact that took him down the order. Tristan Herbst down 5 positions. Crispy Emerson down 2, with Jeffrey Roux down 4, and Dean O'Keefe, he is making up time. He's in 22nd position and is climbing. I mean, there is some incredible talent out here tonight. Dean O'Keefe putting in the fast lap time again, a 146.6. So he is still carrying on going. I mean, that is what we love to see. Tomorrow night, we're going to see that exact same. That never give up, that never quit attitude that we tend to love so much from our drivers. And what you're seeing here, folks, is not only just the pro drivers. You are going to see across all 3 servers that will be going out tomorrow, Pro, Pro-Am, and Am drivers all racing together. And all of them showing that they can put their foot forward, their best foot forward. And I cannot stress that enough. Bravo, bravo. Keep up the pace. And Dean O'Keefe making up time after losing out a lot. Garrett Bukes still keeping the pressure onto Johan Blicknote now with under 10 minutes to go. It's 8 minutes and 28 seconds. Blicknote's tyres must be starting to feel the wear and tear at this point as he tries to keep ahead of Garrett Bukes. And we jump on the rear wing and you can see the Stinger Racing still there in effect as we hear the amazing V8 going up through the gears. Almost a bit of a supercharger whine as well. I gotta say, absolutely love it. And just being an incredible little car. But these 2 drivers, for well over 30 minutes, have been non-stop on each other's backsides and really keeping up the race going. I mean, this is just incredible stuff. And you can't take it away from them. They are doing an incredible job at this point. But we do have yellow flags for Brandon Kruger. No way. No way. Did Brandon Kruger in the 87 lose the car a little bit? De Villiers is closer now, so he did land in the dirt. That would be a huge turn of events because De Villiers now has an opportunity, brought himself closer. So Kruger, comfortable lead. He's opened it up. 3 seconds. Oh, he took too much curb. Oh, and he caught the wall as well. That is going to be front end damage. That is front end damage on that car. That's going to cost him time. And De Villiers now sees the wounded Mustang just ahead of him. So, in the last 7 minutes, folks, this is going to be a proper hammer-down race between the likes of De Villiers and Kruger. I mean, these 2 have battled in the past numerous times with one another. They are not afraid to go elbow to elbow. Brandon Kruger knows how close he has been to the championship's wins. And we can go back through it all, but incredible stuff. De Villiers is a monumental fighter out on the track, so he's really giving it a shot. Sheldon goes into the dirt and into the wall, and Dean O'Keefe, I think, maybe followed suit as well. There might have been contact between the 2, between the 111 and the 3. Let's take a look. There actually was a little bit of contact. So Dean trying to get past Sheldon goes. So 296 Ferrari versus 488. Sheldon on the inside. And Dean trying to make his way around. Side by side they go. A little bit of understeer creeping in there. Nothing too bad. Oh! Dean over the rumble strips. Catching the side. And Herman running out of room to go. Follows through. I mean, close. Close. There's nothing you can do. You bottom out the car. You become your own passenger in the thing. And unfortunately for Sheldon, just having that being side by side, bit of contact there. And that was pretty much that. Oh, man. Gutting. Christoph Peterson into the pits and is going to be getting his car sorted out. Something has gone wrong with it. And our logistical nightmare racing team will be jumping on that car to get it going. I mean, there's 5 minutes left. You can't just back out in the last 5 minutes. It cannot be the retirement of the car in the last 5 minutes. They're going to have to get it out there. Get whatever tape that you need. Whether you need duct tape, whether you need sellotape, insulation tape. I don't know, use anything you can. And also, cable ties. Go for it. At this point, get that car back out on track. Chris Biermeister turned around right in front of our flag marshals and towing back to pits. No, Chris, get that car going. It cannot be it. In the last 4 minutes, he's going to have about a 3-minute tow. So he's only going to be able to get that car out right at the end. He needs to... Oh, my heavens. This is turning into a nightmare affair for Peterson. And he's gone. Chris has retired the car. No, that is gutting. Right at the end, has retired the car. Peterson back out on track. Good to see. He comes out in front of one of our Ferraris, just trying to keep it going. Remember, he's got ice cold tires there. But Chris Biermeister retiring the car. 3 minutes to go. No, he's back in though. Okay, he's back in. Let's see if he can get that Ferrari to the line. He has to for the Pandacity team. I mean, represent at this point. You're carrying not only your team's name and sponsors with you, but you're carrying your own name. Get it out there. Get across the line under your own steam. I mean, there is no excuse to be out of this race unless you have major mechanical hardware that's gone on that prevents you, or in the case of Alan Prem, disqualified completely out by the sim. Rowan van der Walt keeping the pressure on Jason Farmer. Here Bukes onto the back of Blickno. Paul Fenter keeping the pressure onto Chris Collison. Those are our 3 battles at the moment. 3 minutes to go. Drivers still pushing as hard as they can. So far, we only down 1 driver, but Chris needs to get that car out of the pits in a rate of knots. He needs to get going. He cannot call this quits. And we are now in a shot for the lead. Daniel De Villiers versus Brandon Kruger. 2.5 minutes to go. Remember, Daniel De Villiers landed up with a few problems of his own in round 1, trying to give the slip to his own teammate of Dean Nokia, landed up in the dirt and costing him out of that top 3. He has now got an opportunity to bring it back. 1.6 seconds behind Brandon Kruger, and this is going to be it. Right through his front windscreen, you can see the little dot ahead of him. Sorry, there we go. You can see the likes of Daniel De Villiers onto Brandon Kruger. He's keeping a very tight line versus Kruger has gone wide. 2 different lines to make their way through, and this Nissan trying to come up the revs as much as possible into its final gear, down the brakes, onto the brakes to just get it turned in, over the curbs, quite aggressive, trying everything he can to get onto the back of Brandon Kruger, who will be stressing at this point as he's got a proper run through. Now they got back markers to contend with the Griffin Sim Racing Mustang trying to make his way through. It's going to be close. Paul Fenter having a good go at Chris Collison. And now it's going to be the Honda to try and get the pass on the Mustang GT3. Little Honda just having the legs, having less damage on the car. He's able to get going. Chris Biermeister still in the pits. Come on, get that car out, guys. Get that car out. He needs to get out and racing. Brandon Kruger runs out a bit wide. Now he is behind DeSantos. DeSantos is blue flagged here. He is not going to compromise the racing line. He's going to allow the cars to go through, but De Villiers not able to get the drive before they make their way through. I mean, this is going to be rather close. De Villiers needs to make it. Oh, no! And it's done. It is done. Dos Santos off circuit with De Villiers onto the rear. Just got hooked, and that was it. Done and dusted. Brandon Kruger has opened a 2.8 second gap. Unless fuel comes into play, that is the race done. Dos Santos trying to get his car sorted out. He's just trying to pull himself towards himself. Garrett Bukes onto the back of Blicknote. They are fighting it out tooth and nail with Garrett Bukes side by side. Our leader is on the final lap. We got confirmation there as these two fight it out. Jason Farmer and Ruben van der Volta also going at each other. We have got 3rd and 4th, 5th and 6th, all in a fight of note. This is going to be wild between the two. We got the two Mustangs galloping down the main straight, heading into T1 on the brakes. Right, noses turning in on one another, and it is going to be side by side, elbow to elbow. This is like watching a world heavyweight match. Two absolute brawlers fighting it out, throwing their weight in. Oh, Kruger's got something wrong. Kruger has got something wrong. The 87. No, the 87. He lost it through the dirt. He's short shifting. No. He had it in the bag. He had it in the bag. He's short shifting. He's maintaining gears. Kruger has run out of fuel by the looks of it. He's run out of fuel. De Villiers has taken it. Kruger has repeated the same thing as what he had at Donington. He's run out of fuel. And not only has De Villiers gone and taken the lead on the final lap, it looks like we're going to have a race for second between Garrett Bukes and Blicknote. They're 1.5 seconds. They got him. That's it. They got him. Kruger is nowhere to be seen. Bukes is going to send it. And it looks like Blicknote is going to sacrifice his chance at 3rd place to push Brandon Kruger. No! No! Ways! 2 rounds in a row. And Blicknote trying to return his teammate to the line as the guys come through. Jason Farmer's going to have a shot here. Jason Farmer's got it! And so does Van der Volta. Jason Farmer into 3rd place. Van der Volta takes 4th. Brandon Kruger put it in the wall. And now they're just trying to lift the cars back. This is going into a nightmare. Michael Donaldson's trying to get involved. Oh no, the 3 Omnius gaming cars. Kruger's in the wall. Blicknote. Donaldson. No. Oh man, heartbreak after heartbreak. Henry Platz in 8th place with Vietia Buerta finishing up in 9th. Has got Macondo in the top 10. Well done, Macondo. Good to see that. That is awesome. Phenomenal stuff on the newest addition to the sprint race. Final season, he's out there. Great. Love it. Herman getting 11th position, 1.8 seconds behind Macondo, with Paul Fenter running in 12th. Chris Collison will come across the line in 13th. Brando Santos in 14th. 15th is Rich Vineyard. Tiana Sporta. Sheldon Nogales has come in 17th with the oldest car in the race, and a car that is forgotten. Tristan Herbst takes 18th. Christoph Peterson 19th. Jeffrey LaRue will take 20th. Chris Biermeister will finish up in 21st, unfortunately, in pit lane. And bravo to Dean Nokia for coming across the line. Dean, respect earned. I knew it took some convincing, but well done. Wow. What? 2 rounds in a row. And then Blicknote. I wouldn't. I'll be rather factual onto it. Johan Blicknote had an opportunity for 3rd place. He had the run. He really had... Sorry, that would have been 2nd. He had the run on Garrett Bukes. And he sacrificed it. Like, I give it up to the drivers for doing a thing like that. I mean, it's incredible. It's a good show of sportsmanship, but it's a championship. I mean, that was it. But congratulations on all to the drivers. Great racing out there. What a turn of events, folks. I mean, you can't even make this stuff up. I mean, this has just been pulling at the heartstrings of every driver out there. And I've got to say, as a commentator that has been around the block a few times, yes, I'm getting old. I have never seen a race like this and at Donington ending in such a wild, wild moment. But we got to see it. We got to see the drivers give it their all and fight it out for the racing. So take a look at some of the highlights of the absolute carnage in T1 for a lot of the drivers who got swept up in that problem. That landed up with Jason Farmer, a little bit of contact into the rear of Dean Nokia. Dean coming back onto the circuit. Huge turnaround there. And that was that. So we're going to bring in a couple of drivers, have a chat with us here in the commentary box. I'm looking quite forward to it. And I want to start bringing it through. Let's start off with the biggest heartbreak of them all. Brandon Kruger to come to the commentary box. Brandon Kruger, welcome to the commentary box. Well, heartbreak once again, unfortunately, for the Mustang. You were having a race. You were getting out there. You got out of the lead. You lost Dean Nokia, who was in the earlier carnage that went on. What happened?
Oh, Stephen, I'm over it, eh? I think when you come from a car like the Ferrari that sips fuel, you're a bit hesitant to throw in like 100 liters just for a sprint race. But it seems the Mustang just drinks. I threw in 90. ACC Drive said this is 15 minutes worth of fuel. I'm like, sweet, we're covered. And I still miss out by half a lap, so I feel scammed, honestly. I feel really scammed.
That 3 good laps, unfortunately, just took a bit of fuel out of the tank. I've got to say, on behalf of everyone that's here sitting in the virtual grandstands, the heartbreak, you could feel the heartbreak as everyone stood up to see this car slowing down. But taking a look at your teammates, that got to give it up to the likes of Luke Notes, who could have taken second, was in the fight for second place, could have darted past you, instead sacrificing his race and fell down the order to help push you across the line just to try and get you through. I mean, is there a bit of looking back at it as a team, and we could see you trying to move the car out of the way just to sort of tell him, just don't worry about me, get this car, go. But he stuck it out there trying to push you. Is there a little bit of heart in the throat moments of the team's backing you up?
Yeah, no, I didn't expect it at all. I expected Johan to just go through, get his podium, and then maybe Michael said that he would then help me over the line. But the fact that both of them just came and shoved me along, I really appreciate that. It does take the sting out of it quite a bit. But yeah, I've got no words. It's 2 races in a row. I know there's a lack of practice. I haven't touched Monza. I haven't actually touched ACC since last week Thursday, so that's on me. But you got the software. It tells you will be set for at least 2-3 extra laps, and to come half a lap short is heartbreaking. But it's not only that. It's, my quali was disappointing. My race pace could have been better. I was once again playing catch up to everyone else, fiddling with my TC, fiddling with my braking points, seeing where I must go. But I think tomorrow will be a much stronger race for me, and definitely one where I don't have to worry about fuel.
Well, Brandon Kruger, speaking on behalf of everyone out there in the virtual grandstands, we've seen that pace. We've seen you really give it horns, and what you showed last week Thursday is you put the Wednesday behind you and you really put the impact in. So we're looking forward to you going and slugging it out, giving it your absolute best, and really charging your way through. We know the heartbreak. We're here for you, bud. But time to get yourself over that. Chuck in that. If you feel that little bit of 100 fuel is needed, do it. Just go with your guts on it. But ladies and gentlemen,
100%.
boys and girls, can we just get a massive round of applause, a bit of fire, a bit of show off, a bit of celebrations for Brandon Kruger for going and putting in a huge run through it all. I mean, incredible effort on his part to battle his way through, going and having a dominating lead. We cannot take that away from the driver. Brandon, while you're here, anything you'd like to say to everyone out there on the virtual grandstands, to our partners here at RaceFace.Pro, to the drivers and teams and even your own team that are out there? The floor is yours.
Thank you for the kind words, Stephen. I really appreciate it. Also, I appreciate my teammates. Their support is always heartwarming. And yeah, that's about it. Bit of a dim day, but I'll bounce back tomorrow.
Looking forward to it. Brandon Kruger, everybody else from Omnius Gaming. Tough race out for him. But let's go and have a chat to second place, who must be smiling ear to ear. Stinger Racing, second place. Claret Bukes. Claret, how are you feeling with that one, bud?
I'm pretty chuffed. Especially with these faster guys in front, I'm really happy.
I mean, you were in a fight and a half with Jan
Yes.
Blusnight for well over 30 minutes. You guys were nose to tail, chasing each other down. You were constantly fighting it out. I mean, there was a second between you guys. It got down to the final lap. You saw the gap close down to 0.5 of a second. Suddenly, there's Brandon Kruger slowing down. What was going through your mind at that point?
Yeah, so with Blignout, he was coming quick. I think he was a couple of seconds behind, like 5 seconds. He closed that really quick. He was on me. He challenged me into turn one, and I thought, okay, I'm going to basically just give him the space and see if I can hang with him because he's really quick. And then, let's say 5 minutes to go or so, 10 minutes to go or so, he kind of saw that he was struggling, and yeah, and then we had a little coming together, but he was nice enough to let me pass. And yeah, on the final couple of corners, I saw, okay, here's a car just coasting, and that's for position, so I took it.
You got to be in it to win it, and to end up. Did you think at the start of this race that you would be sitting here in the commentary box holding a bit of silver around your neck, saying you got second place for round two?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's been a while. I've been in here with you guys, but progress. We make, me and my teammate Chris, we're making progress, and hopefully it'll go a little bit better.
Fantastic. Well, motivation for tomorrow. Big impacts there for it. Anything you would like to say to the partners here at RaceFace.Pro, to the amazing petrol heads out there in the virtual grandstand that you must have seen going absolutely wild as they cheered you coming across the line, but also to your team, to your own partners in the team? I mean, anything you want to say to everyone out there? The floor's yours.
Yeah, just to you guys, RaceFace as always, it's just awesome. The racing here is really good. And my teammate Chris Collison, we're working, we're moving forward. Everything is looking all right at the moment.
Fantastic. Well, the Stingers getting that second place. Keep an eye on them tomorrow. Claret Bukes, everybody. Go and enjoy the champagne. Go and enjoy the fun. You have earned it, buddy. Well done. Absolutely
Thanks.
Incredible stuff. Claret Bukes of Stingers Racing, the Mustang, getting a huge climb. But let's bring in the absolute defense of Daniel the Hitman de Villiers. Daniel de Villiers. Wow. Okay, let's go back a bit. Start of the race, where T1 was frantic. Take us through T1 and your approach to seeing everything going on.
Good evening, Stephen and everybody. I was very scared for T1, man. You know, turn one is the scariest corner of them all. I was behind Brandon, and then chaos happened, and I just squeezed behind Brandon. I'm like, come on, Brandon, don't mess up. And then we were through, and it was tickets from all the way there.
And it looked like Kruger had your number. He started opening up that gap more and more. Was there a bit of a concern happening in the car? Or did you feel, I've got the legs here, I'm going to make up that little bit of time?
Stephen, I was being very patient. I tried to save the tires, hopefully to catch him at the end. If he was pushing the whole way through, and then I could maybe get that last 10 minutes to start catching him and everything, and then put the pressure on. But yeah, it seems like he ran a bit out of fuel.
Well, the first of the problems actually came in where he clipped the wall and it bent the front a little bit, and that's when you started closing up that second and a half. How did it feel? I mean, you were in this race and suddenly Kruger slowing down. Your opportunity is now to take that top spot.
Oh, you know, the hot racing, it keeps the heartbeat going up, maybe 100, 120. But yeah, I still need to keep calm and just focus on exits and entries the whole time and make sure I don't make the mistakes.
Well, it was an absolutely fantastic effort for the Nissan GTR. You know, I know you got a lot of fans out in the grandstands going and really supporting.
Sorry, I had to do that.
Found the button. But anything you would like to say to the amazing petrol heads out there in the virtual grandstands, all our partners here at RaceFace, to the teams, the drivers, the families, all getting behind and just seeing this race, and also to your own team, PWSR. It's been was a rough race for your teammate, but it seemed like you've managed to take the opportunity to put yourself to the front end.
Yeah, very unlucky for Dina. You know, to start at the front is not actually always optimum on Monza. But yeah, this is revenge for last week for me running out of fuel on Donington. And I had, funny enough, 1 liter, almost 1 liter to spare on this track now when I've finished. But yeah, to my teams, team, Alan, Kieran, you know, and Darren Miller, you guys are missing out, man. This is a lucky track, and it's good to be part of a good working team.
Fantastic. And to the shadow teams, as we've now found out, there's another team that's involved on the side.
Yeah, I'm not sure my wife supports me this much, eh?
Well, De Villiers, fantastic run there. You well earned the position, and congratulations. Go and enjoy the celebrations. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. And pass on a bit of a note from me to Dean for getting back out there. It was good to see him going back out, and I know it's always that little bit of frustration that comes in that can take a driver out of the race, but it's glad to see that you know how I always go and shout my mouth off, and Darren, big shout out to him. He was going and running to the pits and trying to get Dean back into the car. Just a shout out. Thank you very much for crossing in line under his own steam. That's good to see, and that not giving up. We never want to see people giving up, so please pass that on to...
Points for the fastest lap as well, eh?
Yeah, no, that's it. Got the fastest lap. Can't take it away from him. But Villiers, fantastic stuff. Thank you very much, and enjoy the celebration.
I just want to say thank you to everyone watching. Thank you to you for streaming and commentating, and to the people behind the curtains of RaceFace for doing this. Well, thank you. Always lekker.
No problem. Daniel De Villiers of PWSR. The Hitman is back, folks. He's got your number. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that does bring us to the end of such a fantastic show. I mean, man oh man, so far 2 rounds have been heart-stopping. Absolutely heart-stopping for all of us. And has been one of the most wildest moments here at RaceFace history. But it's only getting even more wild. This is only round 2. Tomorrow night we've got round 2 of our RaceFace GT3 Championship. It's a big one. It's the one we always love to race. It's the 1 hour and 20 minutes. 3 different servers, AM, Pro-Am, and Pro, all going at it to fight it out for the gold. So make sure you tune in. Tristan Herbst will be out on the mic for the Pro-Am, and I will be on the mic for the Pro. You want to be a part of the fun, get to see all the action, and also the reactions that are happening out on the circuit. We've so far going to see a great race. I know there's going to be a lot of hard work behind the scenes, a lot of work going in, and maybe some very, very late night tonight to just dial in those cars before tomorrow here at Monza. But while you're going to enjoy it, go and visit the local Italian delis and ask them to snap the spaghetti just for you, and enjoy. And make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon, leave a like, and let us know what was your most exciting part of the race. We're looking forward to seeing you guys out there. Follow us out on Facebook as well. Send us some of the photos. Tag us. Show us what was those highlight moments for you on it, and where you're watching from in the world. Tag us on Facebook, RaceFace.Pro, and we will take a look at those beautiful, beautiful comments. So, looking forward to it. Looking great to it. Big shout out to our partners, Rhino Utility, Scallywags Drift Academy, and Red Star Raceway for being a part of the show and being part of the action. Until tomorrow, like always, folks, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody. From myself, Stephen Koenig, here at THT Productions.